Hi everybody, this is the Comic Book Guy, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Comic Book Guy. I hope you like this video. I'm going to play again that clip of that store owner, and this is what is at stake now. Stores are upset, and the people that own these places and run them are upset that the creators are attacking not only the readers, but they're just throwing all kinds of insane politics in the books. I'm going to play this clip and I'll tell you this new story that's coming out from DC Comics.
Most of these new writers don't have the love of comics like these older writers had. And all they care about is, how can I put myself in the book? No, we don't care what you would do if you were Iron Man. We don't care who you are. You're writing Tony Stark. You're not writing yourself in a book. If that's the case, write your own comic with you in it. No one will read it because nobody cares. People grew up, are growing up loving Peter Parker, loving Miles Morales, loving all these Captain America. We don't need you to put your input in it. Just write Steve Rogers. Don't write Steve Rogers. What would Steve Rogers be if I was Steve Rogers? That's not how it works. But that's again how most of these new people write nowadays. That's why most of the stuff is shit. Because we don't care what you would do, because we don't care about your life whatsoever. Just write a book, get paid for what you do, get paid for what you're supposed to be doing, and make it a good story.
Now, admittedly, this is a little bit of a different story, a different angle than most things you'll find. But I thought it was interesting to kind of connect all this stuff together. As you know, a lot of the stores are so many stores are closing. And I think a lot of it has to do, obviously, because of all the sort of toxic politics of communism being thrown down the throats of all these consumers and customers. And a lot of people walked away from the books. They don't go to the stores and buy books in the stores or even show up at the store to buy other things, because sometimes stores have different things that they put on, up for sale. But we have here from a writer, and this is the Batman writer, Joshua Williamson, he's actually a pretty good writer. He did the Flash for many, many years. His Flash run was pretty good. But here's from Phantom Pulse. And you need to follow this site's new site, written by the editor is probably the hardest working man in comics. That's John De La Rose, and he's the hardest man in comics. You ask him, he'll tell you. Even if you don't ask him, he'll tell you anyway. No, but he's a good friend, and he has this article here. Let me read it to you. And he has a YouTube channel. If you don't know, I'm sure you know. Batman writer Joshua Williamson admits Marvel and DC Comics piss people off as a marketing ploy for short-term comic book sales. But then what is the effect? Marvel and DC Comics have abused comic book readers for the longest time. The comic industry keeps lowering the bar of the products and destroying beloved characters like Spider-Man, Batman, X-Men, and more of ideas that would never, and the Hut means ever, have been approved for what-if stories by editors in the 1980s, let alone be part of the main continuity. In a recent interview with Popverse, Batman and Robin writer Joshua Williamson admits the comic industry upsets fans intentionally as a cynical marketing ploy. The comic industry is dying. Nearly every week there's a new news story about a beloved comic shop closing down. Most recently, Comic Town in Ohio becoming a casualty of the industry's antics over the last several years. It became a comic industry secret as to why. If you ask any comic shop owner behind closed doors, they'll tell you no one wants to read the diversity high replacement characters of beloved classic books. But Marvel and DC writers keep pushing them on comic book readers. And that's very true. Full panic erupted among comic industry pros and insiders when Glenn O'Leary, and that's the rant you saw, ranted about self-insert characters from hack writers at Marvel and DC Comics went viral. He laid out the frustrations of comic book readers everywhere when telling the industry, if you're writing Iron Man, write Iron Man, not a representation of you in an Iron Man suit. That's the writer in the suit. It seems to be something that would be easy for professional writers to accomplish, simply honoring the legacy of Marvel and DC Comics before. Yet, for some reason, they keep doing the same thing repeatedly, which kills comic book sales. Retailers in a meeting back in the days of Dio and his tenure even lashed out because they would replace Batman with a black counterpart, which thankfully stopped DC Comics from replacing Bruce Wayne, at least for now. Fans can't help but wonder why Marvel and DC Comics keep doing this. There have been countless discussions where comic book readers have begged writers to create their own characters and stop trying to replace old ones. Yet the comic industry does the same thing. Joshua Williamson answered why in a mask-off moment. I can tell you a couple reasons. This is Williamson's reasoning. When people are happy, they spend less, Joshua Williamson said about the comic books he writes. It sucks, but it's the pattern that I've seen in my time at DC. But here's the thing, folks. Okay? When you see these white characters getting replaced, if you're white, they want to replace you. And we're starting to see this being talked about openly. They want to replace all the white people with whatever. And that's why they've been replacing all these white characters in particular. Joshua Williamson accidentally implied what we've all been speculating for years. Marvel and DC Comics make these changes. See, if you do them with characters, you can do them with real people. They're trying to normalize that. Make these changes to characters to upset fans and get talk of the changes happening in the hope of a slight short-term sales boost. Unfortunately, while someone like Joshua Williamson knows it might get him a little publicity to make Batman and Robin gay, which he hasn't done yet, but who knows? Every time it turns off big, long-time readers who eventually quit the hobby because they're sick of DC Comics running franchises with degeneracy. This is what Williamson says, and he continued. It's not just about, I wanted to piss people off. He then talked about putting characters on roller coasters and vague statements about his writing style. It may not be just about upsetting fans, but it's a large portion of what they attempt to do. Something a far cry from what Stan Lee and company used to do when making their stories. Williamson does admit it's a cynical marketing point in the comic industry, stating sometimes people get really angry and then they spend money. These companies completely disrespect comic book readers because they know the fans will rubberneck and pick up the book where their favorite characters get ruined just to see what's happening. Marvel and DC Comics clearly resent their customer base and believe their readers are stupid. It's more than just that. Which is why we've had this cycle of woke over the last decade, which never seems to end. Well, the thing is wokeness is attached to communism, and communism is attached to Satanism. And if you're a Satanist, you need to destroy. You need to just replace it with all the things that are good. God is good. God is the light. God is great. What's the opposite? God will create. Satan does not create. Satan destroys. And Satan is darkness. Satan is evil. So this is what we're dealing with these companies, and we're seeing it in the culture. You can't go anywhere without feeling it. Evil's everywhere right now. It's pretty bad. We have to find a way to sort of break through all this. I pray to God that we do. Now, there's a very serious kind of ending to this story, to this video, but you have to understand, best way to deal with this is to not hate your neighbor. Believe it or not, is love thy neighbor, love thy enemy. Pray for your enemy. Because a lot of these people are completely out in the woods, hanging out with George W. Bush while they're chanting to Satan. Quite frankly, unfortunately, but we're gonna get through this. This has been a very dark, cold 10 years with comics and with our lives and with our culture. This is going to be I'm going to say this is going to be a tough year. But hopefully keep our fingers crossed, pray to God, we'll get through it. I think we'll get through it. But it's going to be tough. This is going to be a tough year, especially with that election in 10 months. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. Oh, you can't because I don't have the comment section right now. Okay. That's okay. Well, let me thank you for watching this video. And, of course, please subscribe to the Comic Book Hub. We'll have more stuff here. And always remember, God is great. And God will always put you where you need to be in life. And that's how it is. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you later.
Most of these new writers don't have the love of comics like these older writers had. And all they care about is, how can I put myself in the book? No, we don't care what you would do if you were Iron Man. We don't care who you are. You're writing Tony Stark. You're not writing yourself in a book. If that's the case, write your own comic with you in it. No one will read it because nobody cares. People grew up, are growing up loving Peter Parker, loving Miles Morales, loving all these Captain America. We don't need you to put your input in it. Just write Steve Rogers. Don't write Steve Rogers. What would Steve Rogers be if I was Steve Rogers? That's not how it works. But that's again how most of these new people write nowadays. That's why most of the stuff is shit. Because we don't care what you would do, because we don't care about your life whatsoever. Just write a book, get paid for what you do, get paid for what you're supposed to be doing, and make it a good story.